6 push-ups. No one does that completely transform your upper body. Most people who train believe they've evolved beyond push-ups, that they need a gym and sophisticated equipment for a good physique. Meanwhile, there are still people developing complete pectorals, three-dimensional shoulders, and sculpted triceps using only their own body weight. The secret? You'll see now. 6 push-up variations so challenging that less than 5% of regular practitioners can execute them correctly. These are movements that activate your muscles in completely different ways, attacking specific weaknesses that traditional exercises simply don't reach. We're talking about working portions of the pectoral that remain dormant in conventional bench presses, developing functional strength that transfers to absolutely everything you do. And the best part? Zero equipment necessary. Before we begin, please tell us through the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We'd love to know. Push-up number 1. Spider-Man push-up. The Spider-Man push-up is a dynamic variation that revolutionizes core work by adding a rotational component to the traditional movement. During execution, when bringing the knee toward the elbow, you intensely activate all abdominal muscles, with special emphasis on the obliques, which rarely receive adequate stimulus in conventional training. This deep core activation not only sculpts the abdominal region, but also drastically improves your postural stability and significantly reduces the risk of lower back injuries. The main muscles targeted include pectoralis major, with special emphasis on the outer fibers, anterior and medial deltoids, triceps, rectus abdominis, internal and external obliques, serratus anterior, and scapular stabilizers. To execute correctly, start in high plank with hands slightly wider than shoulder width and body perfectly aligned. As you descend toward the ground, simultaneously bring one knee toward the elbow on the same side, keeping the abdomen strongly contracted. Return the knee to the starting position while pushing the body back up, alternating sides with each repetition. The main errors to avoid are losing core tension during the movement, allowing the spine to curve excessively, performing only a small movement with the leg without bringing the knee sufficiently close to the elbow, and letting the hips rise or fall during execution. I recommend starting with 3 sets of 8 to 12 alternating repetitions, progressing gradually until you can perform 4 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions with perfect technique. People with wrist, shoulder, or abdominal hernia injuries should avoid this exercise or consult a professional before executing it. Number 2. Decline push-up. The decline push-up is considered by many trainers as the most effective variation for developing the upper portion of the pectoral, that region that creates the high chest appearance so valued aesthetically. Elevating the feet completely alters the biomechanics of the movement, shifting the center of gravity and modifying the force vector so that the upper fibers of the pectoralis major are recruited with much more intensity. This specific targeting is particularly beneficial for people with prominent clavicles, as it helps fill this area with muscle mass, creating a smooth and harmonious transition between neck and chest. The change in angle also significantly increases the load on the anterior deltoids, developing fuller and more rounded shoulders. The main muscles worked are clavicular fibers of the pectoralis major, anterior deltoid, triceps brachii in all heads, serratus anterior, and core for stabilization. To execute correctly, position your feet on a stable surface like a bench, step, or box. The ideal height varies between 12 and 24 inches depending on your fitness level, with beginners starting with lower elevations. Position your hands on the ground with spacing slightly wider than shoulder width, keeping the body in a straight line from head to heels with the core firmly contracted. Lower the body in a controlled manner until the chest almost touches the ground, making a brief pause in the bottom position. Push yourself back to the starting position, focusing intensely on contracting the upper portion of the chest. Start with 3 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions, progressively increasing until reaching 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. The most common errors include excessively arching the lower back during the movement, transferring unwanted tension to the spine, elevating the feet too much right at the start, making the exercise excessively difficult, and not keeping the core contracted, allowing the hips to fall. Start with 3 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions, progressively increasing until reaching 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. People with shoulder problems, especially impingement, should exercise caution and start with very low elevations or completely avoid this movement. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you progress with health in the long term in the world of bodybuilding. Number 3. Mike Tyson push-up. The Mike Tyson push-up is an explosive and dynamic variation that received this name for imitating the movements that the legendary boxer executed during his intense training preparations for fights. What makes this exercise truly special is the combination of pushing force with a lateral plyometric component, creating a completely different stimulus for the upper body muscles. After completing a traditional push-up, you execute an explosive lateral displacement, as if dodging a punch, before performing the next repetition. This dynamic component intensely works the capacity to generate force in multiple directions, a fundamental quality for combat sport athletes, but also extremely valuable for recreational practitioners seeking functionality and coordination. The main muscles involved include pectoralis major, deltoids in all 3 portions, triceps, serratus anterior, complete core with emphasis on the obliques during lateral displacement, and scapular stabilizers. To execute correctly, start in the traditional push-up position with hands slightly wider than shoulder width. Execute a complete push-up with perfect technique, and upon returning to the starting position, make an explosive movement, displacing the entire body laterally to one side. Return to center in a controlled manner, execute another push-up, and slide to the opposite side. The main errors are losing body alignment during lateral displacement, allowing the hips to fall or rise excessively, not executing the lateral movement with sufficient explosiveness, transforming it into a slow displacement, and leaving the elbows too open during the push-up phase. Start with 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 total repetitions, progressing until reaching 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 16 repetitions. This exercise is contraindicated for people with wrist or shoulder injuries and should also be avoided by those with lower back problems due to the dynamic component. Number 4. Pike push-up. The Pike push-up represents a radical change in the mechanics of traditional push-ups by significantly elevating the hips, forming an inverted V with the body, which transfers the emphasis of the work from the pectoral directly to the deltoids. This change in body geometry transforms the exercise into one of the best bodyweight movements to develop strength and definition in the shoulders, serving as a natural progression toward more advanced exercises like the handstand push-up. Beyond the primary work on the deltoids, this variation strengthens the triceps much more intensely than traditional push-ups. And after just a few weeks of practice, you'll notice significant improvement in the definition and strength of the back of the arms. The main muscle groups worked are deltoids with special emphasis on the anterior and medial portions, triceps brachii in all heads, serratus anterior, upper trapezius, core, and scapular stabilizer muscles. To execute correctly, start in a position similar to the plank, but elevate your hips, forming a well-defined inverted V with the body. Keep your arms completely extended, with hands positioned slightly in front of the shoulders, not directly below them. Flex the elbows in a controlled manner to lower the head toward the ground, keeping the elbows relatively close to the body, then push back to the starting position, focusing on shoulder work. Start with 2 to 3 sets of 5 to 8 repetitions, progressing gradually to 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. The main errors include letting the hips fall during the movement completely, transforming the pike into a common push-up, positioning the hands too close to the feet, making the exercise excessively difficult, and allowing the elbows to open too much laterally. People with shoulder problems, especially impingement or bursitis, should exercise extreme caution or avoid this exercise. Number 5. Archer push-up. The archer push-up is widely considered one of the most challenging and transformative variations you can add to your bodyweight exercise arsenal. The fundamental principle behind this movement is the extremely unequal distribution of body weight during execution, where one arm performs practically all the work of the push-up, while the other remains extended laterally, offering only minimal support. This controlled asymmetry creates significantly greater overload on the working side, promoting much more intense and uniform strength development between both sides of the body, naturally correcting muscular imbalances that frequently go unnoticed in bilateral exercises. One of the most impressive benefits is the substantial gain in flexibility in the shoulders, pectoral, and back region, as the arm that remains extended laterally experiences a deep stretch of the pectoral and anterior deltoid, while the arm executing the push-up works in a movement pattern that significantly increases shoulder range of motion. This simultaneous combination of strengthening and stretching creates functional mobility rarely achieved through conventional exercises. The main muscles worked include pectoralis major with emphasis on the working side, anterior and medial deltoids, triceps especially in the support arm, serratus anterior, complete core for anti-rotational stabilization, biceps and forearms in the extended arm, and deep shoulder stabilizers. To execute correctly, start in the traditional push-up position, but with hands positioned a bit wider than shoulder width. Completely extend one arm to the side, keeping the palm facing down and the arm straight. Keep your body in perfect straight line from head to heels, with the core strongly contracted to avoid trunk rotation. Flex the elbow of the support arm, lowering the body toward the ground in a controlled manner while keeping the other arm completely extended laterally. Push your body back to the starting position using mainly the strength of the support arm. The most common errors are twisting the body during the movement, losing proper alignment, not completely extending the lateral arm, keeping it slightly flexed, and letting the hips fall or rise excessively. Start with 2 sets of 4 to 6 repetitions per side, progressing to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions per side. This exercise is contraindicated for people with shoulder, wrist, or elbow injuries, and beginners should develop significant strength in traditional push-ups before attempting this variation. Number 6. Diamond push-up. The diamond push-up receives this name from the characteristic hand position, where the thumbs and index fingers touch, forming a diamond or triangle, and this apparently simple modification in hand positioning radically alters the entire dynamics of the traditional exercise, redirecting the emphasis of muscular work from the pectoral to the triceps dramatically. Scientific electromyographic studies conclusively demonstrate that this variation activates the triceps brachii up to 1.7 times more intensely than the traditional push-up, which translates to much faster and more visible results for the back of the arm. The diamond effectively works all 3 heads of the triceps, long, lateral, and medial, providing complete and harmonious development of this fundamental muscle group for pushing strength and arm aesthetics. The main muscle groups worked include triceps brachii in all 3 heads, with special emphasis, inner portion of the pectoralis major, anterior deltoid, serratus anterior, complete core, and scapular stabilizers. To execute correctly, position your hands on the ground so that your thumbs and index fingers touch, forming a perfect diamond or triangle directly below the center of your chest. Keep your body in impeccable straight line from head to heels, with the core strongly contracted. Flex the elbows, keeping them as close as possible to the body throughout the descent. Lower your chest until it almost touches your hands, making a brief pause in the bottom position. Push back to the starting position, focusing intensely on triceps contraction. Start with 3 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions, progressing to 4 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. The main errors are allowing the elbows to open to the sides during the movement, drastically reducing triceps work, positioning the hands too high toward the head or too low toward the abdomen, and not keeping the core contracted, allowing the lower back to arch. People with wrist or elbow problems should exercise caution, and it's recommended to start by supporting on the knees until developing sufficient strength. Now let's go to the bonus exercise that will further complement your development. Bonus: isometric push-up. If you do these 6 push-ups consistently, you'll already see a huge change in your body and physical performance. But here's one more exercise to further complete your development. The isometric push-up is a variation that completely revolutionizes how we understand muscular work by eliminating any dynamic movement and focusing exclusively on sustained muscular contraction in a fixed position. What makes this exercise extraordinarily valuable is its capacity to develop strength at specific angles of the movement, filling gaps that dynamic exercises cannot completely reach. When you hold an isometric position, you're forcing your muscles to recruit the maximum possible muscle fibers simultaneously to sustain the load, which develops impressive muscular density and mental endurance. This exercise intensely works the pectoralis major in all portions, anterior deltoids, triceps, complete core for stabilization, serratus anterior, and all deep stabilizer muscles that are rarely maximally activated in dynamic movements. To execute correctly, descend to the intermediate position of a traditional push-up, where your elbows form approximately 90 degrees, and hold that position completely static. Your body should form a perfect straight line from head to heels, with the core maximally contracted and the pectoral and arm muscles in total tension. Focus on breathing in a controlled manner, avoiding holding your breath, which can dangerously elevate blood pressure. Start by holding the position for 15 to 20 seconds, performing 3 sets with 60 seconds of rest between them. Progress gradually until you can hold for 45 to 60 seconds, maintaining perfect technique. You can vary the difficulty by altering the push-up angle, holding in lower positions for greater challenge or higher for more controlled work. The main errors include allowing the hips to fall or rise during the hold, breaking body alignment, not maintaining constant tension in the muscles, allowing the body to partially relax, and holding your breath instead of maintaining a controlled breathing pattern. This exercise is contraindicated for people with uncontrolled hypertension due to increased blood pressure during sustained isometric contractions, and should also be avoided by those with acute shoulder, elbow, or wrist injuries. If you liked this and want to also discover 6 planks that no one does, capable of defining your abdomen in just a few weeks, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing each of them better. Don't miss checking it out. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.